Hey guys, so this video is gonna be very personal. I'm excited to share it though. And I know a lot of you, the title is gonna catch your attention. You're gonna be like, wait, what? She was doing this, but she looks so successful and blah, blah, blah. But like most people really don't know this about me. But less than 2 years ago, I was delivering for doing Uber Eats, DoorDash. Yeah, I was doing all of that. I was out there in my car hustling and really trying to just make ends meet, all while raising money, managing my real estate portfolio, still doing it. So I really want to just take this time to kind of share like why I started it, how that has helped me, believe it or not, and the biggest lesson that I have truly learned from doing, what do you call it, delivery service. All right. I'm gonna give you guys a backstory, not going off a script. We're having a conversation. A lot of times I want things to be perfect and all of that, but I'm gonna truly give you a backstory of why Uber Eats. I think I was truly at a point in my life where so let me give you more context. I need to get better at this storytelling thing. With entrepreneurship is that you tend to have very inconsistent income, right? And when you're starting out as well, like your expenses, your startup cost is very expensive. Your operational costs, subscriptions, all the things that you have to pay for, different opportunities to attend networking events, conferences and stuff are gonna pop up. And you just always have to be investing in yourself, right? And I think for me, I was at a point where I could cover so much of my not credit card expense, my business expenses. And you can use your credit card for so many different things, right? But I realized that I needed to have this stable income just to cover my basic necessities. What does that mean? I needed to make sure whatever my rent was, my electricity, my phone bill, my internet bill, things that I need, my basic stuff were covered. Like I have that money coming in to cover that. And even though majority of those expenses can be paid with a credit card, it's like my credit card debt just keep increasing. Like credit card can be a powerful tool because you're leveraging the capital, but once your credit card is tapped out, they're not like, okay, what's next, And I'm also grateful that I wouldn't say I'm bad with money, because if I had one credit card that was tapped out, I made sure that my second credit card was not tapped out, because really anything can happen. Like any single thing can happen. And I think something did happen where I ended up in the hospital, and thank God I had a credit card that I could cover like expenses and stuff like that, especially not having health insurance because that bitch is very expensive. So I don't have health insurance, so that going to ER, and for people who maybe have somebody or know somebody that went to ER without insurance, that is expensive. Okay, that is extremely expensive. But yeah, like I really wanted to have something that's super stable, and I just wanted the money in. And what I was doing, have my rentals, but my rentals, that cash flow wasn't sure, because there were like short-term rentals, mid-term rentals. It wasn't like super sure. And then I was still building up reserves. I wanted to make sure that even though there was cash flow in those properties, it could go back to reserves just in case like any like expenses popped up or anything like that. So in that case, I was very disciplined with that. So properties could be making money, but it will go straight into reserves, because I've learned that it's really important to not take from your business. If you can save for reserves for a property, do it, because if something bad happens to that property and needs to be fixed, at least you can pull money from somewhere for that property. And that was happening to me as well. So I was glad that I did not like take money from those cash flow and all that stuff. Anyways, I just needed that consistent income to be coming in, and I needed something quick. I really did. I remember telling my mom, and she was like, "Oh my God, you really need to go find a job." And I was like, and it wasn't like give up entrepreneurship and go find a job, but it was really like she was encouraging in terms of go find something where at least it will cover your basic expenses, right? And I thought about it. I was like, I do not want to go to a 9 to 5 or a shift thing where it's like 11 to 3 or all that stuff. Because also in my line of work, I always need to be on my phone. I'm always talking to investors. I'm always talking to borrowers as well. Like I'm always connecting with people. So I thought about it. It's like if I do a job where it's between 11 to 3 or 7 to 11, whatever the time is, and they're so strict with their phone, or that job requires my undivided attention where I can't be on my phone, that's also going to affect my business and whatever it is that I'm doing long term. And I knew I didn't want that. So of course I prayed really hard, and I was like, God, I just really need something where I am not working for somebody, like have a strict 9 to 5 schedule. I was very specific. I didn't want to have something where it's a strict schedule that would prevent me from like doing what I'm doing with the real estate space as well, because then that is also going to suffer, right? And I remember as well, like during that time too, I think I work from home, and yes, I tend to go to coffee shops and all that stuff, but I was also at a space where I could not function at home. I would get wicked migraines, and it just felt like this cloud was over my head when I'm home and trying to work. And I only had like peace or clarity, like my head was just clear whenever I went to the gym or if I'm driving. And I would just go for really long drives and just have the window down. So like, like when you're driving and you put your hands out and stuff like that. And like something about the breeze and just the long drives, it would really, really ease my mind, and I'll be good. And then if I get home and I try to work, it's like, bam, it's like this cloud again, just over you. But I was like, I want something where I'm not clogged to an office as well. And it's something that it's super, super flexible. It's remote. I even started looking for remote jobs online, and I was like, oh my God, most of these remote work, I would have to be doing call centers, blah, 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 all those things. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing data entry because I'm not going to take the time and go try to learn this whole business. And no, because I truly knew what I wanted to do. And I know it was just for business, for my expenses. So I needed a side hustle, a quick money, okay? Like I really needed quick money. Like, well, sure, that's coming in. I was super flexible. I knew I didn't want to do Uber, like the deliver portion of it, because I don't want to talk to people. Like I tell myself that, like I thought about doing driving Uber. And I was like, first of all, I'm already not in the right mind space mentally. So I do not want to talk to people. I rather do deliver food, and that way I won't be talking to people, blah, blah, blah. And it so happened that I think I wasn't scared. I actually thought that I would be scared to tell people that I'm doing Uber Eats DoorDash, because I'm like, you look like this. And this is where like imposter syndrome comes in, okay? Because a few times I kind of had the thought, we were like, imagine if I tell people that I'm doing Uber Eats and DoorDash. I'm doing DoorDash, and on social media I'm showing that I'm doing this in real estate, blah, blah, blah. Like that imposter syndrome, it's real, okay? It's super real. But I had to be like, Kalisha, screw them, screw people, because they're not paying your bills, okay? They are not paying your bills, and you have to do what you have to do. And I remember that when I came here in the US too, like at first I felt ashamed of doing cleaning tables, cleaning toilets, and serving people, and like, ew. Because again, back home, we look down on those stuff. And then I kind of felt ashamed about it at first. I didn't want to tell people. But after a while, I was like, I don't care, because I'm doing this job and I was making so much money compared to the person who had the perfect corporate job back home. Like, and I get to wear whatever I want to work. So I kind of remember that as well. I'm like, whatever, I'm going to do it. Anyways, I explored and I signed up on DoorDash. That was the first thing I did. And did the DoorDash thing and kind of got used to it. It's so funny that when I prayed about it, I think it's a friend of mine or something, just randomly, and let me not say randomly, but like we haven't spoken in a while, and then we started talking about, they're telling me about DoorDash that they're doing, and I was like, tell me about this, because I've never heard about like how it really is structured, how does it work, how can you make money, blah blah. So I went to DoorDash. I did research in terms of the peak times, during the peak times that I need to start driving, how it works. And I used to read like reviews, how people are like, hey, they screw up other person's order when they have multiple orders. And I used to be like, they're dumb. Like, how do you mess up the orders? I did that. I mess up people orders and I felt so bad. Like I think I had like 3 or 4 different orders, DoorDash orders, and I kind of left off the food with the wrong person, and it was like a whole mess, and I felt so bad. But the DoorDash thing, listen, at first I thought it was good. The first night I did it for like 3 hours, and I think I made probably like $200 and something, and I was like, all right, okay, it's the first night. This is nice for a couple hours. This is good. And it was peak time, and they were doing promotions and all of that, where you deliver during that time, you get an extra $2, and I was like, yeah, this is nice. Okay. The next day I went in and I was like, all right, bam. With DoorDash, it's like you're doing zones, and you have to kind of pre-register for zones. What I hated with DoorDash was that when you're in a zone, when you get a delivery and you come out of that zone, in order for you to get an next trip, you have to go back to that zone. So imagine if you're 30 minutes away from your zone, you have to drive 30 minutes, go back to that zone to get another trip. And I hated that. I hated that so bad, and it used to like piss me off. But I was like, I'm gonna keep doing it until a relative of mine told me about Uber Eats. He's like, no, Kels, don't do DoorDash. You need to be doing Uber Eats. This is how it's set up. This is how it runs. I said, all right, boom. I went, signed up for Uber Eats, did that. And I kind of started getting used to it. And again, when I went in to pick up the food, I was like, ugh, I'm in here collecting food. I was like, and then after a while, I was like, screw this. I'm here. And I went in like, no, after a couple of days, I kind of went in very confident. This is the order I'm picking up. Here's a screenshot, blah, blah. I don't care. I was in. What I loved about doing the food delivery, though, is that I got to see or become very aware of different restaurants in Tampa. I really love that. So I would actually make notes when I go to the different restaurants. I'd be like, oh, I'm going to try that. Oh, I'm going to try that. So I make a list of restaurants. I got to know Tampa so much more as well, because I was driving. And I was driving, which I have friends told me that I was crazy, because I was driving in the evenings and go straight to night to like 1-2 in the morning. Because for me, I'm like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm doing real estate during the day mainly. And then by 5-6 o'clock, I know that no more calls. I'm going straight to work. I'm going to drive until 11, 12, 1, whatever time it is. And it depending how like busy it was. And I remember when I switched to Uber, I started making way more money. And I was like, thank God, this makes so much sense, like so much more sense. And I really appreciated doing that, because I was doing at least like 2 to 3 hours for maybe like 4 days, 5 days. And I was making bank like $1,000. So I would be like, all right, this is the goal for this. This is the goal for this week. This is how much money I want to make. And when I made that money, I was like, bam, let's go again. We're going to do this. And even if I fell short as well, that means I would have to try to do an extra day or just a couple more hours and stuff like that. So I would do that. I would come from church. And then as I leave church, I just turn on the app, bam, because it's Sunday. But also I really, really love that in driving, doing the delivery. It's like I kind of I was really able to clear my head. I think I had so much going on. I wasn't in a good space mentally, and I had so much going on in my head. And the driving kind of helped me to think clearly, and I got ideas, I got clarity just by driving, because I wasn't sitting at home at the desk trying to find solution like I need to figure out this problem right now. I really need to figure it out. I wasn't doing that, you know. So my brain got time to really disconnect and to fully think, you know. And then what I also love is that I discovered some neighborhoods, gated communities, like some killer ass mansions, like some really nice houses in some areas. And I'm like, this is a whole community of like, estates, I don't know what to call them, but like I discovered this community. And the first time I went to that community, I think I was supposed to go there because I was like, oh my God, look in these houses. Like, I wonder what what do they do? And just seeing the houses and all that stuff, you know, and just driving around, I was like, yo, like, if Kalisha, if you want one of these, you can get it, you know? Like, you really can get this if you want it. And it was like a source of inspiration, you know? I was like, yo, like, you're just doing this for a little time. This is not your life. You can get this too, you know. And it was really, really an inspiration just seeing those houses. I was so fascinated. I remember calling my mom, calling my friend, and showing on FaceTime like, yo, look at these houses. But I was truly, truly inspired and be like, I would love to live somewhere like this one day, you know. And I was just drive around, and it was good. I love that about it too. But that was the driving part of it too. But I think it worked out perfectly with the delivery portion of it, because I wanted something that was very flexible, that didn't like have like a strict time, and I also wanted something where I was getting fresh air, I was moving around, and I think that was perfect at that season of my life, because I could do delivery, have my windows down, get fresh air, because it was perfect way for me to clear my head, and it was also very flexible. I could control my time and whatever it is that I wanted to do. So I did that for a while. I did it for a couple months, and I did a few shifts here and there. I went ham. I was driving doing delivery till like 1, 2 in the morning. Listen. I used to have like my friends stay on the line with me just to keep my company. And I think at one night, and that's when I decided to stop doing deliveries so late. I think I was so tired, and this was the most shocking thing I've ever experienced. I was so tired, and I was in the turning lane. Thank God it was late. I was in the turning lane, but I saw green. But it was green to go straight, not to turn. So I see that green, and I'm turning. This is maybe like a huge intersection. I'm talking like this road was very, very wide. It had 4 lanes, I think. It was like 3 or 4 lanes. I don't remember. 3 or 4 lanes. And it was a really huge intersection. And I remember seeing the green and turning on the green. Like my green turning light was red, but I saw the green and turning. And while I'm turning, I see this traffic on the opposite side coming at full speed. And I'm like, this idiot, they don't see that it's my green light. Why are everyone coming down? It didn't even click. By the time I got in the middle, I freaked out, and I was like, holy shit. I could not believe that I was the one who ran the light. Like ran the light. A couple cars, like one person was coming so full speed, they're honking their horn, and in my head I'm like, dude, why are you honking your horn and coming at me? Like, you're in the wrong. And I'm in the middle of it and coming out. I was like, oh shit, I was wrong. I was so wrong. Like, I was so frightened. I had to pull over. There's a gas station nearby. I had to pull over, and I just kept praying. I kept praying. I kept like, God. I kept praying, and I'm like thinking nothing happened to me, all that stuff. I remember calling my friend. I was like, oh my God, this just happened. And he was like, go home. I think you need to go home. I'll stay on the phone with you. But you really need to go home. And like I was shaking, like I was shaking, because that would have been a really bad accident. Like I felt so guilty. I wish I could stop or find those both person and tell them sorry, because it could have been so bad. And that night I was like, yep, no more late night doing delivery as well, especially when I'm really tired. I'm gonna cut off time. I used to go in certain neighborhoods where I felt very unsafe, like to delivering to apartments and stuff like that, but I had to walk very militant. Listen, I'm not gonna walk down my phone, pretend like I don't know where I'm going. I used to just dress up in hoodie, sweatpants, jeans, sneakers. Like, if anything happened, I'm ready for run. All right, ready for run. But I used to dress hat, cap, everything, and just dress regular and pretend as if I know where I'm at, as well. But this thing is in my mouth. It's crazy. But yeah, that's the story with me doing Uber. And it was really, like, I think one of the biggest lesson that I've learned is that I got so much mental clarity, because again, my mind was so clouded. I could not think properly. Like, it was really bad. I think I just was in a bad space mentally because I had so much going on. But like the delivery, like just the environment, not the activity of delivering food, because trust me, I would smell the food and I'm like, oh my God. I think one of the best things I love is when you're doing the delivery and you're ready to deliver someone's food and you're calling them and they're not answering, and you call Uber and they're like, well, wait 10 minutes or whatever time. If they don't show up, then you can eat the food. I'm like, I hope they don't show up, because the smell of this food, I'm hungry and I want to eat it. And I think one night someone ordered some really good sushi. I'm not a sushi person, but thank God what they ordered had shrimp tempura. Bruh, when I tell you, when the Uber said, the rep said, yep, you can put it in the trash. I'm like, okay. I went somewhere, I parked, I got me some Coke, and I dealt with that sushi. It was so good, like so good, so good. But I definitely got a lot of mental clarity, a lot of time for me to think, to kind of focus on what is it that I was going to do, and not sitting in the problem, but coming out of the environment where the problem was occurring so much and being in my space as well. So it's like that's how I realized, like, sometimes working from home has its pros and cons. And a lot of times, like, if I'm home and working, I would try to go to a coffee shop, or I'll go to my community center, or I just get out of the house and go sit down and do work in a whole different environment. And it does so much. And another thing is that I realize the power of hustle. And when I say the power of hustle, it just goes to show you that if you're that type of person where you just have to do what you have to do, whatever it is. If you know that you have to take care of yourself, provide for your needs, your family, and when you're back against the wall, you just have to do whatever it is that you have to do. Okay? I was like, there's someone on my lip. Yeah, you just really have to do what you have to do. Don't care what anyone else is thinking, because those people are not paying your bills, right? If you get kicked out of your apartment, they are not there to help you. The person's on social media is not there to help you. The person who's judging you is not there to help you. If you're a dead hungry, they're not going to provide for you either. So in this place called America, you have to do whatever it is you need to do to survive, to take care of your family, and to grow, right? So I was grateful about that as well. And then I just kind of get that, what do you call it? I got that like active income that I truly need to cover my expenses as well. And then the main thing, I think why I stopped doing it, because at some point I think I was either listening to a podcast while driving through that neighborhood I was telling you about, that really nice neighborhood. And I was like, bro, you're out here chasing this $25, this $10, this $8. You're out here chasing that. What if you just like trusting God? That was it. Like trusting God that is gonna work out, and just put your attention on what you're doing in your entrepreneurship life, in your real estate. Try to find other things that you can do in real estate that can give you that income that you are looking for. All that time and effort you're chasing into getting the $20, the $5, the $6 there, you can do something where you're getting $50 consistently for multiple people, right? And there was so much things that I could have done, but again, I did not thought I was capable of doing that, or thinking I'm not ready yet. That's it. Not capable, but thinking I'm not ready yet to do certain things. And I had to make that decision to be like, girlfriend, okay, you are ready. Well, you will never be 100% ready, but you just got to do it. And I remember, like, I think I went to church, bruh, and there was a song playing. And I just started doing praise and worship. I just broke down. Like, tears come out, like, when I'm like river flowing. And I was like, what is happening? Like, tears. And after that, like, they talk about walk up to altar. I'm never the person to do that. I'm never the person to walk up to altar. I went up there, and pastor asked, like, if anybody wants somebody to pray for them or whatnot. And someone came around, and she's like, what do you want to pray for? And I was like, I guess financial stability. I don't know. I'm just stressed out. And that lady prayed, and when she put her hands over me and started praying, I started crying again. And like the moment I was finished crying, service was over, I feel like there was this burden that was just, it was just lifted. It was truly lifted. And I wouldn't say I was like 100% confident that it's going to work out or felt better, but I felt that there was like a turn coming. And in that turn coming, I think like a week after that, I was closing deals back to back to back. Yeah, like back to back to back. I was closing a lot of deals, and other opportunities was popping up for income. Like I was getting a consultation there. I was getting another consultation there. I was getting sale from products I was selling online. I hosted events. So even that too, and I think I hosted my first webinar in April. No, that's different. Was I still doing Uber that time? I can't remember. That was April 2024 last year. No, I wasn't doing it that time. I was finished. Yeah, it was probably like maybe right there when I decided to be done with it. Be done with Uber. I kind of did my first in-person workshop. But like, I truly learned a lot during that phase, and I'm proud of that moment, because doing that kind of helped me to get out of the space that I was in for that season of my life. It was a lot of mental stuff happening. But I just decided to kind of pivot and really put the time and effort and energy into doing other things in real estate. And know with real estate, there's so many things for us to do. There is so much. You can renovate a property, you can be a landlord, but there is other opportunities for you to like, whatever, how do I say this, or how do I find the right way to say it? We tend to think that we're not capable, or we're not ready, or we're not experienced enough, right? But if we kind of like take a step back and be like, what value can I provide to others, right? And how can I turn that into an offer or a service that can help someone else who is not on the same level that I am at, but is hoping to get on the same level where I am at, if that makes sense. So even if you are still a beginner, there's someone who still hasn't taken their first step in getting into real estate. So you going through as well and learning, you can also provide value to someone else who is trying to start. And I kind of switched like what the type of podcast I was listening to. So I started listening to more intentional business podcasts, intentionally following business people who are really good at sales and marketing, selling products and offers. So like Russell Brunson, Alex Hormozy, I started following them a lot. And I even like went deep into Alex Hormozy's book. I think you guys will see it somewhere right here. But his book called $100 Million Offers. And that is like, when I was reading that book, I was like, light bulb moment went right off. And I started getting so many ideas and clarity of things that I wanted to do. And then I just realized that I had to take the step and just try something. And whatever it is that I decided to try, I had to fully believe in myself that and the product and the service that I was offering, to be like, hey, you can do this. Like, sell it with passion, even if you don't get, if your target is 50 people, but if you get 2 people, be grateful. And that, I've learned that in this space where whatever it is that you're doing, like selling, and you're doing like sales, 1 sale is better than 0. Be grateful for that 1 sale. Like, be really grateful for that 1 sale. Don't be like, oh, I wanted like 20 sales. I wanted 50 sales. Like, I'm not grateful because yes, I got 1, but I wanted 50. No, you wanted 50, but you got 1. Be grateful for it, and be grateful when you show gratitude for it. Keep putting in that work. Keep selling your product. Keep telling people about your product and what you're doing, because it's all sales and marketing. You gotta market. You gotta open your mouth. Tell people what you're doing. And I think that was the biggest thing that came out. The biggest thing actually came out of from me doing Uber Eats and DoorDash was me doing my first ever in-person workshop. Yeah, that was the biggest thing that came out, because that's where the idea came from, was me doing Uber Eats. That idea came in my head. I was like, nah, I'm not an expert. I don't know how to plan events in the US, which is crazy, because I am really good at planning events back home. And there was just so much fear and stuff in my head, and I just kind of took the step with other factors who encouraged me, God, people around me, be like, hey, come on, you gotta do it, we'll help you. And I had a really good support. Like, oh my God, I have some really good people in my life. I have really quality, genuine friends, supporters in my life that I've met here since I moved to Tampa. And I'm so grateful. And I mean, I have like really good people that I consider family across the world. I'm going to put that, not even the US or Jamaica, but across the world. But my support here, my local community here in Tampa, is phenomenal. So I know I just went off on a tangent with the whole story, but in essence, like, whatever it is that you're doing, even if you are doing Uber Eats, if you're doing lashes, something on the side, you're walking dogs, like, it doesn't matter. Listen, we live in a world right now where you have to do what you got to do. Things are changing. Things are getting expensive. You can't just rely on one thing to be have the perfect life, plan for the future, save, and do all that stuff. You just can't, right? So if you're out there, if you're hustling, right? So if you're hustling, whether it's Uber Eats, DoorDash, whatever it is that you're doing, just know that it is not your final destination. It's just a time of your life. It's just for the season, for you to get through what is that you are going through, right? So just think about it, that this is it's a stepping stone to the door that's going to open for me next. You know, there's always some good from everything that you're doing. There's something that you are supposed to learn. Maybe you're going through something, and doing that little side gig or side hustle would kind of put you in a better space mentally, physically, emotionally, to get ready to the next stage that you're supposed to get to. Because just like me, you can be doing food delivery and still raising money. It is possible. And just know that not everything that you see on social media is real. I mean, we hear that story all the time. I always tell people, like, if you see me on social media the same way how you see me, how I talk, how I communicate, my reasoning, how I approach you, my smile, everything, that's what you're gonna get in person. That's just who I am. So just know that you can still work on your business and do that side hustle. Just keep pushing, keep pushing, right? And I hope that this story can be very inspiring to somebody who feel like they're judging themselves, feel embarrassed for whatever side hustle it is that you're doing. Truly, like, don't. And just know that whatever the main goal is, you're still working towards it. Again, like, whatever that side hustle is, it's a stepping stone. So I hope you guys enjoy this, my little rant. I'm trying to do this a little bit more, so it's not all about real estate, but you truly get to know who I am. Also, still can't believe I'm this girly. I'm still this girl who's telling you to go and subscribe. Subscribe. I really appreciate it. I can't believe by the time you're watching this video, I've just hit 500 subscribers, and I'm so grateful. Like 500 people. Some people might be like, that's not a lot. That is a lot. That's 500 individual people made it a point of their duty to go on my page and hit that subscribe button. That's a big deal. Okay. So if you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed as yet, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, leave a thumbs up. Let me know your feedback in the comments. If you didn't like it, tell me what you didn't like. But I really don't care because it's my story. But hope this video inspires you as well. If it did, let me know as well. And again, thank you guys for watching. Go check out my other videos.